The HR manager didn't look at me when he spoke. Daniel, the board has made its decision. I said, you promised me time. He sighed. Victor proved the losses came from your department. That's a lie, I said. Those contracts were altered after I signed them. He finally met my eyes. Can you prove it? I opened my mouth then closed it. He leaned back. Security will walk you out. I stood there numb. 5 years, I said. That's it. I'm sorry, he replied, already typing. Outside, Jake called me. How did it go? He asked. I'm fired, I said. What? He shouted. That bastard Victor. Don't, I said. I can't hear it. Jake paused. Come over. I have to go home, I said. My phone buzzed again. It was the hospital. Mr. Wright, your mother's surgery can't be delayed. How much? I asked. There's still an unpaid balance. I laughed softly. Of course there is. I went home early. Emily was sitting on the couch, scrolling. You're home, she said, not looking up. I lost my job, I said. She frowned. Again? It wasn't my fault, I said. You always say that, she replied. I need you to listen, I said. She stood. I'm late. For what? I asked. Dinner, she said. With friends. I watched her grab her bag. We need to talk. She sighed. Daniel, I'm tired. So am I said. She turned. Then stopped failing. The words hit harder than I expected. I said, my mom needs surgery. Emily froze for a second. How much? More than we have, I said. She rubbed her forehead. Why does everything happen at once? I said, I'm scared. She didn't answer. She walked into the bedroom. That night, I heard her whispering on the balcony. I miss you too, she said softly. I stopped breathing. No, he doesn't know, she said. My chest tightened. I just need time, she said. Daniel is difficult. I stepped back before she saw me. She came inside later. You're still awake? I said, who were you talking to? She hesitated. A friend. What friend? I asked. She crossed her arms. Why are you interrogating me? I heard his name, I said. Lucas. Her face changed. She said quietly, you weren't supposed to hear that. So it's true, I said. She sat down. We need to talk. My heart pounded. About what? She took a deep breath. I want a divorce. The word echoed. I whispered, what? She spoke fast. This marriage is suffocating me. I'm trying, I said. But failing, she replied. I said, you promised. She looked away. People change. So you go back to him? I asked. It's not like that, she said. Then explain it, I said. She said, he understands me. I laughed bitterly. I don't. She snapped, you're always broke, stressed, angry. I'm drowning, I said. And I'm tired of sinking with you, she replied. I asked, when did you decide this? She answered, a while ago. I felt hollow. So tonight wasn't random. She stayed silent. I said, does he know? Yes, she said. I nodded slowly. Of course he does. She said, I deserve happiness. I asked, what about me? She stood. You'll survive. I followed her to the bedroom. Please. She turned sharply. Don't beg. I'm your husband, I said. She said, not for long. I sat on the bed. Is there someone else? She hesitated. I won't lie. That was enough. I said, get out. She grabbed her coat. I'll send the papers. The door closed. I stared at the ceiling. My phone buzzed. Jake again. You okay? I said, she's leaving. Where is she? He asked. With him, I said. Silence. Jake said, I'm coming. Don't, I said. There's nothing to see. I looked at the bills on the table. I whispered, Mom, I'm sorry. The room felt empty. I asked the dark, when did I become so easy to abandon? Emily stood at the door with her suitcase. I'll have my lawyer contact you, she said. I asked, you're really leaving like this? She replied, dragging this out won't help. I said, you won't even turn around? Her hand paused on the handle. Goodbye, Daniel. Then she walked out. Jake rushed in minutes later. Where is she? She left, I said. That's it? He asked. After everything? I nodded. He grabbed his phone. I'll call her. I stopped him. Don't? Why not? He snapped. I'm too tired to fight, I said. Jake stared at me. You're letting her choose him? I didn't have a choice, I said. He cursed softly. You trusted her too much. I laughed once. I trusted my wife. Later that night, I checked our shared tablet. Messages were still open. Lucas, I can't wait anymore. Emily, I'll be free soon. My hand shook. She had already chosen him before she left. Before the papers. Before the goodbye. I remembered every night she said she was tired. Every time she avoided my eyes. She knew. She planned it. The next morning, I went to the hospital. My mother smiled weakly. You look thin. I said, you worry too much. She touched my hand. Did Emily come? I swallowed. She's busy. Mom frowned. You're lying. I said, I'll explain later. The doctor entered. Stress caused the collapse. I asked, is she stable? For now, he said. I sat beside her bed. She whispered, marriage is hard, isn't it? I nodded. Sometimes. She squeezed my fingers. Don't lose yourself. I promised, I won't. 2 days later, the divorce papers arrived. Jake stood beside me. You don't have to sign. She already left, I said. I held the pen. My hand wouldn't stop shaking. Jake said, she doesn't deserve this mercy. I don't want war, I said. I signed. When I stepped outside, someone clapped slowly. Still the same fool, Lucas said. He smiled like he won a prize. I asked, enjoying my life? He laughed. She came willingly. She was married, I said. He shrugged. Unhappy. I clenched my fist. He leaned closer. She said I understand her. I whispered, get out of my sight. He smirked. You already lost. I walked away before I broke. That night Emily called. I answered. Why? She cried, I didn't mean to hurt you. You planned it, I said. She said, I was lonely. So was I replied. She whispered, he listens. I said, so did I. She went quiet. I ended the call. I sat alone shaking. I realized then love didn't fail me. People did. I wasn't watching where I was going when I stepped off the curb. Hey, a woman shouted. I collided with someone, coffee splashing everywhere. I'm sorry, I said at once. That was my fault. She blinked, steadying herself. Are you hurt? No, I said. Are you? She looked down at her soaked sleeve. Only my coffee. I'll pay for it, I said. She studied my face. You look worse than the coffee. I forced a smile. That obvious? She nodded. You walked like you didn't care if a car hit you. I laughed weakly. Maybe I didn't. She tilted her head. That's not funny. I know, I said. Inside the cafe, I ordered another drink for her. I'm Daniel, I said. Lily, she replied. I handed her the cup. Again, I'm sorry. She said, you apologize like you expect punishment. I shrugged. Habit. She took a sip. Rough day? Rough year, I said. She didn't pry. That explains the eyes. What about them? I asked. They look tired, she said. Not sleepy. Tired. I didn't answer. She said, you don't have to explain. Thank you, I said quietly. We sat in silence longer than expected. She checked her watch. I should go. I nodded. Thanks for not yelling at me. She smiled. Take care of yourself, Daniel. I thought that was the end. 3 days later I saw her again. You again, she said, amused. Do I owe you another coffee? I asked. She shook her head. Just honesty. I frowned. About what? She said, are you eating properly? I laughed. Is this an interrogation? She replied, concern. I said, I forget sometimes. She nodded like she expected that. We talked. About small things. She never asked about my divorce. That made it easier to breathe. A week later, Mr. Heiress called me. You disappeared, he said. I failed, I replied. He snorted. You stumbled. I lost everything, I said. You lost a job, he corrected. We met for tea. He said, stand up, Daniel. I don't know how, I admitted. Start small, he said. Freelance. I'm rusty, I said. You're alive, he replied. That night I ran into Lily again. She said, you look better. I got advice, I said. She smiled. Good. I told her about freelancing. She listened carefully. She asked sharp questions. Smart ones. You think like an analyst, I said. She shrugged. I like patterns. We met again. And again. She never pitted me. She never pushed. One evening she said, "You feel steadier." "I am," I said. She hesitated. "Can I be honest?" "Please," I said. "You're broken," she said calmly. I stiffened. "But not weak," she continued. I exhaled. She said, "That matters." I felt safe. Not excited. Not hopeful. Just steady. Then Jake called me panicked. "Do you know who she is?" he asked. "Who?" I said. "Lily Carter," he said. "Yes," I replied. "She's a Carter," he hissed. I froze. "The Carter Group," he added. I looked at Lily across the table. She met my eyes. "I was going to tell you," she said softly. The world tilted. I sat across from Lily at the small table while the cafe hummed softly. She said, "My family needs a marriage." I blinked. "You barely know me." She replied, "That's why it works." I laughed, then stopped. "You're serious?" She nodded. "A contract. Mutual benefit." I asked, "Why me?" She said, "You won't pretend." I leaned back. "This is crazy." She said, "So is my life." I stared at my hands. "I'm divorced. Broke." She answered, "You're honest." I said, "I don't love you." She met my eyes. "I know." Silence stretched. I asked, "What do you get?" She said, "Freedom." I swallowed. "And I get?" She replied, "Stability." I shook my head. "Your family will hate me." She smiled. "They already do." I sighed. "Give me time." She nodded. 1 week. That night I didn't sleep. Jake shouted over the phone, "Are you insane?" I said, "Probably." "You're marrying a billionaire," he said. "Contract," I corrected. He groaned. "Emily will lose her mind." "Not my problem," I said. A week later Lily stood beside me at City Hall. She whispered, "Still want out?" I said, "No, we signed quietly. No vows. No guests." She squeezed my hand. "Thank you." Emily called that night. I answered. "What?" She screamed, "You married her?" I said, "Yes." "Already?" she cried. "You left," I replied. She said, "You did this to hurt me." I laughed. "Listen to yourself." She shouted, "You betrayed me." Lily stood beside me silent. I said, "You chose him." Emily spat, "He understands me." I said, "So do I." She hung up. Victor cornered me days later. He smirked. "Hiding behind a woman?" I replied, "Standing beside one." He laughed. "You're finished?" Lily said, "He's learning." Victor scoffed. Weeks passed. Lily reviewed my contracts. She said, "This clause traps you." I frowned. "I missed that." She replied, "You were angry, not stupid." I smiled. "Teach me." She nodded. "Gladly." My income stabilized. I slept better. One evening I said, "Why stay?" She answered, "You're becoming yourself." I felt taller. Emily showed up at my office. She said, "You look happy." I replied, "I'm calm." She whispered, "I made a mistake." I said, "I stopped chasing revenge." She stared. Lily joined me. Emily asked, "Is this real?" Lily said, "Yes." Emily left crying. That night I told Lily, "This changed me." She replied, "Good." I realized I wasn't hiding. I was standing. My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Emily's name lit the screen. I stared at it. It stopped. It rang again. I turned the phone face down. Minutes later a message arrived. "Please answer." I didn't. Jake called the next day. "Have you heard?" "Heard what?" I asked. "Lucas," he said. "He's cheating." I said nothing. "With 2 women," Jake added. I exhaled slowly. "And Emily?" "She's paying his debts," he said. I laughed once. "Of course she is." At the office, Lily reviewed documents quietly. She said, "Victor is panicking." "Why?" I asked. She slid a file to me. "Fraud." I scanned it. "This is solid." She nodded. "He forged approvals." "So he framed me," I said. "Yes," she replied. I asked, "What happens now?" She said, "The board already knows." I leaned back. "You did this?" She said calmly. I revealed truth. Victor burst into the office that afternoon. "You think you won?" he snarled. I said, "I didn't play." He glared at Lily. "Using her power?" I stood. "Using facts." He laughed nervously. This won't last. Lily said, the police disagree. His face drained. He left without another word. That night Emily called again. I didn't answer. She came in person 2 days later. She looked thinner. She cried as soon as she saw me. I was wrong, she said. I replied, sit down. She shook her head. Lucas lied. I said, I know. She sobbed. He took everything. I asked, why are you here? She whispered, I need you. Lily watched quietly. I said, you left. Emily said, I was confused. I replied, you were decided. She reached for me. Please. I stepped back. She said, I ruined us. I answered, you chose him. She cried harder. I regret it. I felt tired. Lily said nothing. Emily looked at her. Say something. Lily replied softly, this isn't my place. Emily looked back at me. I'll fix it, she begged. I said, I already fixed myself. She froze. I don't hate you, I continued. But I won't save you. She whispered, I thought you loved me. I did, I said. Past tense. She left shaking. I sat down slowly. Lily asked, are you okay? I nodded. Strangely. She said, you didn't flinch. I didn't need to, I replied. Weeks passed. Victor was arrested. Lucas vanished. Emily stopped calling. One evening Lily said, your posture changed. I smiled. So did my life. I finally understood. Karma didn't need my hands. Emily waited outside my office when I arrived that morning. I need to talk, she said, voice shaking. I replied, this is the last time. She nodded. I know. We sat across from each other in silence. She said, I made a mistake. I answered, you made a choice. She clenched her hands. I chose comfort. And abandoned loyalty, I said. Tears filled her eyes. I didn't understand then. I leaned back. Understanding came late. She whispered, Lucas is gone. I heard, I said. He disappeared after the investigation, she continued. I nodded. Consequences tend to follow. She swallowed. I lost everything. I replied, you walked away from it. She looked at me desperately. I regret it. I believe you, I said calmly. Her eyes widened. You do? Yes, I said. But it changes nothing. She trembled. You don't hate me? I answered, I don't live there anymore. She covered her face. I ruined us. I said, we ended long before papers. She whispered, I thought love would wait. I replied, love survives. People don't always. She looked up. Can you forgive me? I paused. I already did. Hope flickered. Then we can. I cut in. Forgiveness isn't reunion. Her shoulders collapsed. I didn't win because you lost, I said. She listened, broken. I won because I survived, I continued. She cried quietly. I stood. Take care of yourself. She asked, is there someone else? Yes, I said. She nodded slowly. I see. I walked away without anger. That afternoon my mother called me. Daniel, she said cheerfully. You sound stronger, I replied. The doctor agrees, she said. I smiled. I'm glad. She asked, is Lily visiting later? Yes, I answered. I like her, my mother said. I know, I replied. Lily met me that evening. She asked, how did it go? It ended, I said. She squeezed my hand. I'm proud of you, she said. For what? I asked. For choosing peace, she replied. I looked at her. I care about you. She smiled softly. I know. It's quiet, I added. That's real, she said. Weeks passed gently. Emily never called again. Lucas never returned. My work stabilized. My heart did too. One night I told Lily, I love you. She answered, I felt it already. I realized then I was gone. Not lost. Gone forward. I stood by the window and said, it's quiet now. Lily answered, you earned that. I asked, do you regret this marriage? She shook her head. Do you? No, I said. I stopped pretending. She smiled. So did I. We sat together, not touching, comfortable. I said, I lost a wife. She replied, you found yourself. I nodded. I lost a future I imagined. And built a real one, she said. I laughed softly. You always correct me. She teased, you need it. At work, contracts closed smoothly. Jake clapped my shoulder. You look solid. I feel solid, I said. You won, he said. I shook my head. I moved on. Emily watched from across the street one afternoon. Jake whispered, she's staring? I said, let her. She looks miserable, he added. I felt nothing. That surprised me. Later, Lily asked, did you see her? Yes, I said. Does it hurt? She asked. No, I answered honestly. She took my hand. I'm glad, she said. At home, my mother laughed loudly. You're different, she said. I'm lighter, I replied. She said, pain taught you. Yes, I agreed. Lily cooked with her, awkward but trying. Mom smiled. Take care of him. Lily replied, I will. That night I said, this started as a contract. She answered, and became a choice. I choose you, I said. She leaned in. I know. We didn't rush. We didn't need proof. Weeks passed. Success felt normal. Peace felt better. One evening I said, I don't hate Emily. Lily said, you don't need to. I don't forgive to be kind, I said. Then why? She asked. To be free, I replied. She nodded. I looked back once. Not with anger. Not with pride. Just clarity. Betrayal didn't destroy me. It rebuilt me.